Insperity presents the Small Business Advocate Show with Jim Blasingame, brought to you by FedEx, CareerBuilder.com, and Palo Alto Software. This is a copyrighted production of Small Business Network, Inc., all rights reserved.
Welcome back to 7 Till. I'm Jim Blasingame. Thanks very much for staying with me.
You do our new commercials.
I know it. Yeah. They're coming, I guess. I hope they are.
We sent them to you.
Yeah, I think so. That's Jay Mincks, folks. He can't wait to talk to you. Jay is Executive Vice President of Marketing and Sales at Insperity, 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 and they're not our new partners, but that's their new name, and that's what we got going forward. Speaking of going, and that's Insperity.com, right?
Yep.
So,
yes, sir.
So check it out, folks. Mm-hmm. Jay, you looked into your crystal ball and you saw where you needed to go in the future, and you realized that the racetrack you were going to be running on was going to be, you weren't going to be competitive in that racetrack with the race car you had, mm-hmm. which was a Ministaff and all that 25 year of success, and so but when you looked in the future, what were you thinking as far as where you thought the company needed to go?
Well, we felt like that there was a lot more we could do for small business and for business in general. We only have 1 out of 10 folks we called on become a client, mm-hmm. but yet we developed a relationship, mm-hmm. and it's kind of like what you and I have talked about before. Is like, what can we do to help you? Mm-hmm. And if it wasn't the full blown, the full blown Ministaff, right, then you had to walk away. And so we looked at building this brand and then leaving so many people behind without anything, didn't even make a customer out of them. Not much a client, but at least a customer. Right. And so we saw that there was a great opportunity by leveraging these relationships and making customers, if we could make them clients.
So whenever when I used to sell Xerox machines 30 years ago, and I walked in and I said, "What can I do to help you?" If somehow during that conversation I wasn't able to work the conversation back to a copier, right, then I didn't waste a sales call, but I didn't get any business. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the way you guys were.
Right. Exactly.
And so folks, if you sell one thing, you still should be walking into your customer saying, "What can I do to help you?"
Right.
And almost not care what they say, mm-hmm. if you're really going to do it right. But if you're only selling one thing, maybe you need to think about adding something on, because you guys were hunting elephants.
Mm-hmm. Right.
The PEO client, that was an elephant. Mm-hmm. You were slaying an elephant out there, getting that
right.
sale, right?
Yeah.
But you realize maybe we need to hunt rabbits too in the middle.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's really a twofold strategy. One, it is to be able to make customers of folks that we're making relationships with.
Right. But
it's also a strategy to grow our core business quicker. Because we have these adjacent businesses that we've acquired. Right. We already have clients and customers. Right. And we have an intro in to drive business toward our PEO. So it's both about growing customers, but it's also about particularly growing the PEO.
So folks, think about that. Whatever your PEO product is, if your sales aren't going like you think they should, if a lot of people are still struggling with after this, in this recovery. Maybe it's, and I've been saying this for several months now, Jay. If your sales aren't where you think it should be, it's probably time to consider not blaming the recession.
All right. That's right.
It's time to start saying, okay, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with my approach?
You get about 2 weeks to blame the recession, maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then you've got to do something about it. That's what entrepreneurs do. They do something about it. They don't stay where they are.
Right.
And they create. We had Steve Forbes, as you know, here yesterday.
Yeah.
He did a great presentation and a good Q&A, and his optimism over business in America, mm-hmm. and entrepreneurs in particular, was outstanding.
I want to talk about that for a second, if you don't mind. He said if we can do certain things where we get out of our own way, mm-hmm. from a policy standpoint in Washington,
right,
we can get certain things to happen. He thinks in 5 years we won't look back.
Exactly.
We'll never look back.
Amazing.
Off to the races.
He's a smart guy.
He's a smart guy. But I like that optimism about him. And I think and I think those are good thoughts to end our visit on, Jay. What are your thoughts about the future?
Well, I'm optimistic also. I think that there is uncertainty out there that's been created by our bureaucrats and politicians. But doggone it, there's always uncertainty. We don't know we're going to get hit by a truck when we walk out the hotel here in a little while. Hopefully not. So it's really about dealing with it. I mean, that's just life. It's just what it is. It's life. And they don't build monuments to pessimists.
Right.
And so being an optimist is a much better way to go.
It's a lot
you have more friends.
It's a lot more fun. Exactly. Yeah. Jay, thanks for being here. Thanks
Jim.
Thanks for the relationship. Congratulations on Insperity.
Thank you.
I know you guys are glad to make this switch, and thanks for sharing the process with us today.
You bet.
Jay Mincks, ladies and gentlemen, Executive Vice President of Sales and Marketing at Insperity, Inspiring Business Performance. What a great story he gave us. I hope you learned a lot from it. And if you need to go back and listen to it again, you can do it on my website, smallbusinessadvocate.com. I got to go for this hour. I'm Jim Blasingame, signing off from Houston, Texas, and reminding you to always seek excellence, not perfection.
Insperity presents the Small Business Advocate Show with Jim Blasingame, brought to you by FedEx, CareerBuilder.com, and Palo Alto Software. This is a copyrighted production of Small Business Network, Inc., intended for the private use of our audience. Except as otherwise provided by copyright law, all other copying, redistribution, or publication without prior written consent is prohibited. All rights reserved. Prohibited. All rights reserved. Prohibited.